Shaves and Andy has a mustache. You come to the State House, you never know what you're going to find. That's great. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I'm State Representative Connie Pillich, and Representative Carney and I are here to let you know that today we're filing a complaint at the Inspector General's office requesting the office to launch an investigation into the reported conflicts of interest concerning several directors of JobsOhio and Governor Kasich. Representative Carney will start off.
Thank you, Representative Pillich, and thank you for joining us today. As Representative Pillich has indicated, we're here to ask the Inspector General to begin an investigation into the reported conflicts of interest concerning JobsOhio's directors, and Governor Kasich. Initially, what I'd like to do is review the Inspector General's duties when a formal complaint is made. First, under Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.42, the IG must first determine if the complaint alleges facts that provide reasonable cause to investigate whether a wrongful act or omission has in fact occurred. Let's review some of the facts initially to see whether or not, in fact, reasonable cause might exist. 6 of the 9 board members of JobsOhio have a compensation arrangement or ownership or investment interest with an entity with which JobsOhio has entered into a transaction. The governor has a compensation arrangement or ownership or investment interest with an entity with which JobsOhio has entered into a transaction. 1 week after the approval of $100,000 from JobsOhio in the form of a tax credit to a company with which the governor had a compensation arrangement, the CEO personally donated $10,000 to the governor's re-election fund. Furthermore, the same CEO gave the Ohio Republican Party $100,000 amid the awarding of these tax credits. I believe that the complaint alleges facts that provide the Inspector General reasonable cause to investigate whether a wrongful act or omission has in fact occurred. So what is a wrongful act or omission? According to Ohio Revised Code, Section 121.41G, the definition of a wrongful act or omission includes an act or omission that is not in accordance with the requirements of law. You might want to look at the Ohio Revised Code, Section 187.06, that's JobsOhio's own conflict of interest policy. But then it goes on to say, or such standards of proper governmental conduct as are commonly accepted in the community and thereby subverts or tends to subvert the process of government. So standards of proper governmental conduct, whether it be for nonprofit conduct or for-profit conduct when it comes to boards of directors, requires that if a member of a board of directors or a family member of a board of directors has an ownership or investment interest, a compensation arrangement to include any material gifts or favors, such conflicts should be disclosed in writing to all other members of the board. At that point, that the conflict is disclosed by the individual who has it, the disinterested directors are required to then vote to determine whether or not a conflict exists and whether the director can participate in any further discussions with respect to the matter in which a conflict exists. And typically, they cannot further participate. In fact, under JobsOhio's own conflict of interest policies, it requires that the disinterested directors make reasonable efforts to find a more advantageous arrangement that would not give rise to a conflict of interest. The Inspector General is responsible for determining both whether JobsOhio followed its own conflict of interest policy under Ohio Revised Code Section 187.06 and whether a wrongful act or omission occurred using the standards of proper governmental conduct as are commonly accepted in the community under Section 121.41G. Now, we know already that the spokeswoman for JobsOhio has indicated on July 31st in the Dayton Daily News that no such conflicts have been raised by the directors of JobsOhio, which obviously should give us all pause given the fact that both the JobsOhio conflict of interest policies would require it, and furthermore, standards of proper governmental conduct as are commonly accepted in the community would require that, in fact, those disclosures be made in writing to the other board of director members when these conflicts have arisen. Finally, jurisdiction. Does the Inspector General have jurisdiction? In Ohio Revised Code Section 121.41E, it defines state employee as any person who is an employee of a state agency or any person who does business with the state, including individuals at JobsOhio. As a result, it appears clear that jurisdiction does exist to pursue such an investigation. So despite deep reservations, we're turning to the Inspector General to open an investigation because there's literally no one else to turn to. The Ohio Ethics Commission has indicated that they do not believe they have proper jurisdiction to review this, but it does seem very clear in statute that the Inspector General has the discretion to pursue, and as I've laid out, it appears that the facts would provide reasonable cause for the Inspector General to open an investigation and pursue that investigation. I'd now like to turn it over